for another.
I'm dying.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah!
What the fuck are you talking about?
All right, what is up, fam? We are back. Another episode of the Weekly Roundup. I'm your host, as always, Steve Rochelle, being joined by this guy to my right, Mr. Zachary Burr. Zach, how we feeling tonight?
Do not ever call me Zachary.
I'm going to keep calling you, motherfucker. How about that?
That is my government name. We do not go by it. I go by Zach or Shag. That's what I go by.
Okay. Well, Mr. Shag is wound up tonight. We got a lot of stuff to unpack there. We got 2 Eagles games, the Carolina Panther game, which we were dead on about that the defense was the key to victory, and we also have to unload the Tampa Bay game. So we got 2 games to unload as far as that. You know, a lot of Eagles talk to unload the Zach Ertz trade. You know, what are you guys feeling for next week for the Raiders? You know, we got my man Chancey Wilson hopping on here. We got the National League Championship Series Game 1's about to have their first pitch. You got a rematch of last season with the Braves and the Dodgers going.
I gotta watch that one.
Zach's going. He's like, oh wait, I forgot about that. Oh snap!
Yeah, but I didn't bet money on that. I'm a degenerate. I'd be betting on European soccer. Like I was betting on like Kazakhstan soccer the other week, and I can't even
and then obviously
on the playoff game.
Preseason basketball is over, in prelude to us being a little bit more prudent for our basketball talk. We're gonna give a little Sixers season preview. You know, we'll get the fan thought, get everyone's feelings on everything. And with that being said, cannot forget about this. You got to remember this one, guys. Have to. So. Always, this show is always brought to you by eXp Realty and our good friend Alan Foy. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, you're looking to change your career in brokerage, contact Alan Foy of eXp Realty LLC at 302-682-8820 or visit him at alanfoy@exprealty.com. And you don't have to look too far next week because he's going to be on the air here with us next week. We got a jam-packed one for you guys next week. Don't miss next week. I promise you guys, you're not going to
debut. I'll tell you what. I've always told him he had a face for radio, so we'll see how this works out. Because between the two of you, I should be on like the cover of like Men's Magazine or something between what the two of y'all look like.
Oh man, here you go, dude. and the fam already letting us know TiVo/Hurts. I mean, we were being nice in there saying Tyrod Taylor. I don't know. You might be right, Ted. You might be right at this point in time.
Smith. At this point, he's a slightly more athletic Geno Smith. He's not even Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor, like don't compare this bum to me. That's disrespectful. Tyrod Taylor's like, what? Tyrod Taylor's like, I could make all of them throws. I'm just like never like healthy enough to do it. Like I'm just always hurt. Tyrod Taylor's like, my problem isn't that I can't make those throws. My problem is I'm just always like you breathe on me the wrong way and I get hurt. Like,
let's not completely start this off with some of the stuff we got to unpack. We still have to unpack the Carolina game between me and you.
You could say the same thing about the Carolina game. Like Jalen literally, literally, my thoughts are the exact. Like in the Carolina game, he scrambled out of empty pockets. He overthrew open receivers. He ran after like getting off his first read. Misses too many easy throws. You know, I mean, literally, it was like the Cowboys. The Buccaneers game and the Panthers game, the same fucking game, and the Cowboys game for that matter. Another game we played like absolute dog shit, right? But I mean, like you have to be like, oh well, like let's not talk about like I don't think when it comes to Jalen Hurts, all of his shitty performances are the same. Like that's what drives you crazy with the guy. Like he doesn't learn from any of this shit, right? Like it's not like he's going like I keep scrambling out of empty pockets. I need to stop doing that. He doesn't stop. He just keeps doing it. And then like people make excuses for him and claim that he's making plays and running around and nobody's doing anything to help. Like, it's fucking insanity. In the Panthers game, he was 12 of 20 for 35 yards at one point, Steven. I mean, he had 5 completions for 7 yards to start that game. I swear to God, I felt it's like that's got to be some sort of record, isn't it? Like isn't that got to be like one of them like negative like bad records you don't ever want to have? Like 5 completions for 7 yards. Like, bro, the Cowboy could have done that.
Yeah, I mean, when we're looking at the first half of both of the Panthers and Tampa Bay game, left a whole lot to be desired. Let's be honest. It was putrid. There was nothing. I don't care. Who you want to point the finger at. You want to point the finger at Sirianni. You want to point the finger at Hurts' just inability to be. As you already said, Zach. One read and go. Like it's one read and go, or one read and get it out, and just. We've seen maybe a handful of times this season him actually stand there, step up in the pocket, and throw the ball down the field.
And when he does try to deliver the ball, it's usually not any good.
And that's the other side of it. And then is normally he's being saved by a PI, or it's being thrown 10 yards out of bounds, or 5 yards overthrown, intercepted, 10 yards where there's not a single player within 5 yards of the ball. It's rough. Like listen, we have to kind of give our quarterly report here. What I guess if you're sitting there saying, I guess you're out on everything so far, right, my friend?
He hasn't been any good. Like, he has not been. He's had one good game. Okay. I mean, the Falcons game, he was good, but it's also it's the Falcons. The one great game that he had, the game where he threw for 387 against the Chiefs, right? And even then, you're like, oh, he actually left some on the field then too. But still, like, that was his one good game. Like, he's been. It's not even like he just hasn't played well. He hasn't played well. He's been absolute dog shit in 3 of the 5 games. Like, it's rough. Just, it's like really, really like piss poor performances. How do you look like quarterbacks, right? Like in teams, like week to week, you watch a team struggle one week, and it's like they're gonna figure this shit out and bounce back and have a better performance the next week. How do you have the performance that he did against the Panthers, right? Where he looked like such hot dog shit for 80% of that game. How do you look like that for 80% of that game and then not come out like guns a-blazing in the Tampa game, being like, hey, you know what? Like, I need to go put out my A+ effort. Like, we need to rise to the occasion tonight. After what happened Sunday against the Panthers, that was embarrassing. But I don't think anybody looks at it like that. Like, people aren't telling him he's playing like dog shit. People are like, oh, he's doing what he's making things happen and extend play. Look, ran for 2 touchdowns. I don't give a fuck about the 2 touchdowns he ran for. He was 12 of 26 for $115 against the worst passing defense in football. Like, they literally was so bad they had to go sign Richard Sherman off the wanted list or whatever the hell. They ripped him out of county jail and threw him on onto a football field because that's how rough to the secondary. And that lasted 2 plays, and then he popped the hamstring, and it was like, yeah, that's what you get. Like, that's what you get for being old and beating your wife. Like, go back to county jail. Like, fuck you.
Come on, we're not gonna take him in low blows. He's already beating himself up enough. Come on, Zach. We don't need to go there.
We can't take low blows at women beaters. Since when? They're literally the one group of you got maybe a 2 or 3 groups of people where it's you deserve every low blow that comes your way. Women beaters are one of them.
That's fair. Now.
That's fair.
Listen. When it comes to putting a hand on the female, your significant other, whatever. Like, I have no remorse of people doing things. It's just at this point in time, it's redundant. Kind of everyone's kind of already done it. We're seeing it already playing out. It's just let's just see how everything plays out with our team. I'm not worried about what's going on with this guy or that guy.
I think my point more was that the Bucs secondary was already so bad and in such rough shape injury-wise that they had to go rip Richard Sherman off of who knows where the hell they found him and what type of shape he was in. And then he got hurt, and so what random Joe Schmo were they bringing in after Sherman got hurt? I mean, they already thought so much of this guy that they went and signed Sherman because they're like, yeah, you're a bum. You can't play.
And there's other
And we
things that
still
we have
couldn't
to
do anything.
there's still things that we have to unpack with Jalen Hurts too. Like me and you have kind of called this out. Like, when are we going to see this guy take snaps under center and we're not going to see him in the shotgun and actually like play quarterback, not high school quarterback, not like play an NFL quarterback. This is what we're asking for.
He's not an NFL quarterback.
But this is what we need to find out. Let's find out. Let's find out. Put him in the position, and if he succeeds or fails,
why?
Why
do we want to do that?
Because has it any worse than this? Has it any worse than this?
I mean, that's kind of my point. Is we don't need I don't need to see it get any uglier for me to know. Like, we already know. We already know what our eyes are telling us. He's just not good. It's just not there. He just doesn't have it.
And then we have to see this. And then we have to see this nonsense. And then we have to see the nonsense Friday with the figureheads and freaking. I forget which one it was, but basically, well, the Eagles are really good in the red zone because of Jalen Hurts. I'm like, would you guys stop it? We're wildly inconsistent in the red zone because of Jalen Hurts and the play calling. We only have points in the red zone because of Jalen being able to do things with his legs. That's it. Not because of his arm. Not because he's good in the red zone either.
And half of the touchdowns he's run for in the red zone on these RPOs. Miles Sanders could have ran that ball in just as easily.
They're passing plays that broken down. Stop playing with me. Those weren't design runs. At least the two last week. Week, rather.
Right. Sure. He had the one RPO against the Panthers where he scored running the ball, and literally Miles Sanders had even more open space on the other side. Literally, if you run an RPO and you don't understand when to hand the ball off to your running back, you ain't going to be very good at running RPO.
Let's respond to this one, brother. How about this one? When he's given plays where only the wide receiver is the focus, then what he's supposed to be. I guess what he's supposed to do.
You an outdoorsman? Why don't you stick to hunting and fishing, my man? Because football ain't for you. What? There's always multiple receivers on a play, and you're allowed to go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. That's a thing. You could go from A to B to C and even to D. And sometimes even E. There's even an E option.
He's gonna feed us right into our poll question. Fans. We're gonna continue to see these growing pains from Hurts and Sirianni throughout the season. Agree to disagree. I want to hear what everyone thoughts on it. Obviously, me and Zach are absolutely gonna agree with this. That both coach and quarterback will continue to have pains this season. Between what?
Wait. So what we're referring to? What I don't even know. This isn't growing pains, Steven. This isn't
I knew you were going to tear that part. I know you were going to go right. You're like the right. Okay. Growing pains.
This doesn't feel like growing pains, Steven. This feels like compound fractures to both legs. This feels like breaking both arms and legs in a terrible skateboarding accident. Bad. These aren't growing pains.
Daly's got something to say. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. They're not growing pains is where it's all right, they're struggling, but we're seeing improvement and we're seeing them get better and better each week.
His play calling and long range. Listen,
the play calling sucks. We can all be honest there. The play calling sucks.
But let's also note that it's also based on his inability as a quarterback too. So as much as Sirianni's married to that right now, and I agree that throwing that deep ball, he needs some work. Leave something to be desired.
All of his accuracy sucks. His problem deep isn't necessarily his problem deep is that everything's lollipop down the field. Nothing is nothing's on. Let me zip one in there. Everything's just kind of floating, right? You can't float things that in the NFL.
Jake. Sirianni hasn't learned from that. Neither has Hurts.
Yeah. Neither one of them is
and Hurts has been on the job longer. Stop. That's both
and Sirianni's growing pains, Sirianni's issues and Jalen Hurts issues. People want to make them a hand-in-hand thing. And in a lot of things,
Zachary, he says it's rabbit season. Zachary. I'm going to keep going, you know, I promise.
What does that mean? Are you referring to the Zach Ertz trade? I'm not even sure what the hell. Zach Cardinal, obviously, he's like some Zach Ertz burner account.
What's wrong with that?
Hey, buddy, football's an outdoors activity. No, it's not.
Doesn't need a burner
indoors.
account. Let's note that Zach doesn't need a burner account. Let's note that now.
Bro, is this the first time you listen to this show? Like, I'm not insulting you. We're just this is what we do. We bust each other's balls like left and right all throughout the chat rooms. Like, yeah, see, Bryce knows what's up. Right,
Bryce is in the house.
Right, Bryce knows what we mean. We're constantly busting each other's balls. Nobody feels insulted, I guess, unless like, I mean, I don't, you know. I don't ever feel insulted. You can call me an idiot all you want. I don't feel insulted. Tell me how stupid my man bun looks. I don't care. At least I have enough hair to have a man bun.
You broke out the man bun tonight, really?
Well, I was tired of it. You know, I had to go umpire, so I had to have the wifey put it in the man bun because then I put my little like Under Armour skull cap over it, and it's all. I clean up nice. It looks really good, you know. And then, you know, we come home and we let it all hang out.
I guess, and then we're gonna.
That's the other issue. Is the same issues he had in college or the same issues he has now? Where people are like, oh, well, he's still a young quarterback. He's played in 20 NFL games, 10 NFL starts. He's had a full offseason between his rookie year and his second year to fix all these things that most young quarterbacks fix in that time period, and he hasn't. So, like, if it hasn't happened yet, it's one of those things. Like, this is the way the league works. It's not like he's going to magically wake up tomorrow and all of a sudden those things are fixed. It's just not how it goes. This is what he is. Whether he has the ability to do it or not, I don't know. He just doesn't. I'm sure he has the ability to do it. For whatever reason, mentally, he can't do it. He does not have it in him to be able to go through his reads consistently and not pull the ball down and try to run after the first read's not there. Like things like that.
And here's your response.
Sirianni's issues.
And here's your response from Zach Cardinal. Just gonna miss him and listen. All right, let's touch on this because both me and you kind of alluded.
I'll finish my point, and then I'll let you take it over, Steven.
Go, brother.
I'll finish my point. Sirianni's issues and Hurts' issues, like Sirianni has nothing to do with why Jalen can't throw a ball on time, why Jalen can't, throw a ball on time or throw the ball, not behind a receiver, as he goes to a sideline. How many times did you see in the Bucs game at least over the past 3 weeks between the Cowboys, the Panthers, and the Bucs game? How many times has Jalen been behind a guy on a sideline now, throwing the ball to the wrong shoulder? Things like that where you're just like real simple stuff that has nothing to do with Nick Sirianni's play calling. It's just Jalen and his lack of arm ability. There's nothing Nick Sirianni can do to fix that. He's got his own issues to worry about, but there's nothing he can do to fix what Jalen's issues currently are. Nothing.
Oh, absolutely. And then back to the whole Zach Ertz thing. Me and you were talking about it last week. With the fact that Goddard was out, I thought it was a perfect time to let Ertz get some playing time and let's see if with this long week in between games that we might see a trade. And it wasn't even that long. The trade was set up before that game was even lined up. That was set up to be Zach Ertz's last game. Traded to Arizona. Had the little spotlight there Thursday night. I guess your thoughts on Zach Ertz, the player, how everything played out, and the trade itself, I guess.
Future member of the Eagles Hall of Fame, right? I mean, he's going to be on your Eagles Hall of Fame up on that wall. First chance you get.
And second note on that, he's going to come back and retire with a one-day contract as an Eagle. I promise you.
Of course, all that's that's all solidified. That legacy is always going to be there. But I've seen way too many people upset about this trade. I'm actually happy with this trade. I thought we'd get a 5th-round pick, and instead, we get a young defensive back with upside that he skipped the 2020 season because of the COVID things with college. But that year he was projected. He was supposed to be a 3rd-round pick, a mid-round guy, 3rd, 4th round, and then because he didn't play in 2020 and sat out the whole COVID year, he ends up being like a 6th-round pick this year. But we need especially young players on our defense, right? Like, I don't care whether he turns into anything or not. You need young guys with upside and you see what comes of it. And then you also get a pick out of it. And as much as we ripped Howie, guys like Quez Watkins and, Mayalata and different picks like that, he's been able to hit on some guys here in later parts of the rounds of the draft. I don't really think that's where our biggest thing with Howie with drafting is when it seems like he always seems to fuck up that high pick, right? This is the first year we were happy with the Devontae Smith pick. He always seems to overthink that side of it, but he's found some diamonds in the rough for us, with that 5th, 6th round area. So, I mean, we were talking about before the year, like we knew this was going to be a thing where we were going to trade him for very little.
Listen, I mean, he can get it. Our problem isn't with the late round stuff. He's already proven he can find the diamonds in the rough in the late round. Your Josh West, your Jordan Malatas of that nature. His problem is overvaluing and overreaching on the guys in the other rounds. Because
he's a money guy, so he understands value. So late in the draft, he's probably phenomenal for that reason because he understands the money value of things. But when you're drafting at the top of the draft, you don't draft for value. You draft for talent. Where's the best talent? Who's the guy that helps my team right now? Boom, we're getting him. There's this idea like how Howie thinks about everything with money and years ahead of time when it comes to contracts and extensions and all that. That all works when you're talking about 3rd, 4th, 5th round guys. It's not working when you're drafting in the top 10.
And when you're drafting in the top 10, you have to hit.
Right. I mean, you got it. Devontae Smith is,
Before we get too far off that one and play into that, my thoughts, Zach Ertz, dude, like, he had the touchdown to give us the lead in the Super Bowl. He was a guy that, earned our love and respect in this town. He didn't have an easy path to being loved in this town. He wasn't beloved. He wasn't this guy that everyone, Zach Ertz, we got Brent Selleck here. Why we need to draft this guy? Like he did a lot to get to where he is and the respect that he got here. As far as the trade goes, it was one of the things me and you knew it was coming, and we knew, us as fans, no matter who or what it wasn't going to be enough of what we feel Zach Ertz was worth for. As far as the pick and the guy, I already told you how I feel about that just from that tweet alone, dude. He's not going to get no love from me. He's going to put the uniform. What's up, bro? What's up?
Did you see the backstory to that tweet?
Okay.
That tweet was from when he was in high school in Georgia, and their big rivals were the Eagles. The rival high school, their big-time athletic rival, was the Eagles. So that tweet was from 2013 when he was 15 years old. Fuck the Eagles was a reference to the high school team of the high school rivals of theirs when he was in high school in Georgia. It literally has nothing to do with the NFL.
At the end of the day, I don't see him at least at this point in time with the fact that you have Slay, Nelson, Maddox, and all these guys in front of him. He's just the guy in the roster. I think we'll probably get more value out of the pick than we will the guy. It frees up things, so I guess obviously now Dallas Goedert is going to be the guy. We'll see what kind of how things work out with him in that contract. So as far as that goes, getting back to this team and everything of that nature, what is outside of Zach Ertz, outside of Nick Sirianni, like what do you think that this team has to do to find some type of respect and winning form coming down the stretch here?
I mean, I don't know if there's. I mean, people. We could start with the obvious of running the football, but I don't even think. I think people just think that's just. We need something to bitch about.
It's not just running. It's the balance. It's if you find that balance, is that's how you're able to get guys in that thing. And then when you're only doing things out of shotgun and you're only doing specific things and specific formations, the NFL. How long is it going to take for these guys to figure? Oh, they've already got you figured out. What are you shaking your head about now, Zachary? Well, what's going on, brother?
Matt Berg's comment. Having Hurts do all of this passing leaves no room or time to get in a rhythm. What? That makes no sense. If you're throwing the ball 50 times a game, you have nothing but time to get in a passing rhythm. That's literally all you have. You should definitely have found your rhythm pretty quickly. All you're doing is throwing the fucking football. Yeah, and of course, running the ball helps. That's what I'm saying.
This kind of goes into some of the stuff that me and you both have talked about, off season and things of that nature. With other natures having influences on what is going on with this team outside of the head coach and the players. The fact that sitting there saying, but he wants to know he needs to run the ball more, and still throwing the ball the amount of times he's throwing the ball goes back to things that me and you talk about, where it's not under Sirianni's control. It's not has anything to do with the players, that it's coming from up top, which is even more concerning, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I don't, if we connect the dots, I mean, there's things definitely that look that way, but I really, really, really doubt, like, as much as we want to try to turn that into Howie Weasels at it again, I really don't think like him and Jeffrey Lurie are sitting up in the owner's suite calling down to the sideline.
I'm not going to say
run this one this time. You need to run that one this time. I don't think it's about 40 times.
I don't think it's to that nature, but I think they have an influence on what they're doing.
I just think Nick Sirianni's an idiot, if we're being honest. I just think I just think he's stupid. Like, he's just not any good. Like, it's really, this is a high school coaching staff. Like, that's what you got here. Whatever. But I mean, does running the football help? Sure, but running the football is not fixing everything. It's not like that's what I say. Like we always look for in this fan base in this city, any of our teams, something to be really fired up about, and that's the easy thing to be fired up about right now. It's the easy thing. We're not running the ball enough. Yeah, you're right. We're not. But tell me, what is running Miles Sanders 20 times a game going to do?
I say that I agree that we're not doing it. I agree with that part, that I don't think we're doing it enough. I agree with also the fact that I don't think it's going to have an overall outcome on what's going to happen here. I mean, go ahead, bro.
It's kind of funny that he's running play action passes throughout the course of the game when he's not running the ball at all. Like, we just ran like nine straight passing plays, and like the 8th play of that 9 was a play action pass. Like, ooh, you really fooled him that time, Nicky. Got him there with your play action pass. But I mean, great. So run the ball and then do a play action, and Jalen can't hit a guy that's, in stride, that's got to step on his man anyway. So what the hell good is, oh, great, we ran the ball effectively and tried to play action off of it. Jalen, isn't an accurate enough passer for it to really affect anything for you long term, is it? Like, I think it, might make your offense look a little bit better. Like, look at this kind of like finding a little bit better rhythm and operating a little bit more smoothly, but you still have all your same issues long term.
Yeah. Oh God. I mean, like I said, I don't think any fan was gonna be happy with what we got, but fire Howie over that. I agree. We have plenty to fire him over, but like, listen, let's be honest.
Right?
We could call for that guy's head all day long. He ain't going nowhere, man.
CPA, let me ask you something. What did you think? Like, this is what I really want to know. Like, it drives me crazy. I don't know why I follow all of these groups on Facebook. All of these Eagles groups, but I've seen way too many people that are like, well, we didn't get anything new. What we should have gotten for Hurts. He's still in his prime. Like, what do you think you're going to get for a 31-year-old tight end in the final year of his deal that's asking for a $50 million extension? Like, what do you this is not the way the business works. First of all, you're not giving 31-year-old tight ends $50 million extensions, and then on top of that, you get a mid to late round pick for that guy. That's what you get. Like, that's the way the business works. CPA, what do fans like you want? Like, am I missing something here? What would the deal have had to have been that made you happy?
How about this one, Zach?
This guy, like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm an umpire. We all know I can't see.
I think that was the. Oh man! Let's see what else is the famous thing. What's up, fellas? Eagles have no identity right now. We have to get the running game going, and Raiders and Lions.
We should beat the Raiders and the Lions. Yes, I'm with you there, Jersey boy. especially the Lions because they're garbage. But watch, that just has like the Lions will win like 2 games this year, and we'll be one of them. Watch, like.
Don't you wish that on us, man? You're gonna get Don all up in here all excited.
Jared Goff's gonna throw for like 450 and like 5 tutties against us. Like,
I mean, but the one thing I think that I think everyone can notice and pull away from everything is as bad as they look in the first half of games. In the second half, they do make adjustments. They do come back and put up a fight in games and make it somewhat interesting, which isn't really football, but you know what I'm saying. It's not anything.
No, I don't know what to say.
You have to put 2 halves together, man. But what are you about to say?
No,
I can see you about
you
to
know
get
what?
it.
I'm not going to let you get away with that one. No. The game, it was like 28-7 with like 3 minutes to play in the third quarter. Okay, teams take their foot off the gas, and it's like, okay, like we can't throttle somebody because this isn't like high school football. You got to be respectful of your opponents. So instead of 28-7, turning into like 45-7, which Tom Brady could have made it turn into 45-7 in a hurry if he really wanted to. It's and
All right, there you go. Here you go, Zach. Here. Zach's rant time's about to go off.
Bro, it's just like anything when it comes to rhythm. The more you do it, like it's a muscle memory thing, right? Like, yeah, like if he's throwing a football 50 times a game, it shouldn't be that hard to be like, oh, like, damn, I don't have a good feel. Why don't you have a good feel? All you're doing is throwing the football. You should have no excuse for why you don't have a good feel for intermediate passes, long passes, short passes. You should be like, damn, I'm spot on. I throw the ball 50 times. I know what that feels like coming out of my hand.
CPA,
That's why.
I'm never gonna disagree with you there. I mean, me and Zach have been clamoring to get some type of veteran linebacker who can play sideline to sideline and not get run over like a blow up pinball.
Right. Alex Singleton, as much as I like the fact that he sticks his nose in on every tackle, he's also getting his, like his ass bent backwards on like every tackle. He's like sticks his nose in, gets trucked, brings the guy to the ground, gets credit for a tackle. Like, yeah, that's like that 3-yard gain turned into a 6-yard gain.
3-4 yards after they hit him, though.
Like, fell 3 yards forward after you hit him. Like, has Alex Singleton knocked anybody? I haven't seen Alex Singleton knock a single person backwards yet. I don't think I've seen Alex Singleton hit a ball carrier and the ball carrier go backwards. Every time Alex Singleton hits a ball carrier, they fall forward. Yeah, because that's what happens when you're playing prevent defense. The last 2 minutes of a game when, like, you've literally got 6 defensive backs all playing 20 yards off the line of scrimmage. Sure, he's going to tell, oh, look at all this running room. Just take the snap, run. You're going to get at least 10 to 15 yards easily. And then because he's athletic and agile enough, he can add another 5 to 10 to that when he wants to if he makes enough guys miss. It's like that's in the last 2 minutes of it. Stop, Julio. No. What is it? What is it with are these people on Jalen's payroll? Are y'all a part of his family? I have no idea who watches this kid play. I need to defend his performance. Don't go away for too long, CPA. I was having fun with you. We were having a good time. You're like my new favorite listener.
Oh man, don't stop, Julio, please, don't get him started. Don't get him started, Julio.
This isn't baseball, homie. Like, he threw 50 passes. That's a lot of passes for a quarterback to have to throw. Did you know that could lead to elbow issues and potential Tommy John surgery? Like, what the fuck is this? What the hell are we talking about? What?
Yeah, he is really an umpire, Zachary.
I worked a Phillies Pirates AA spring training game 3 years ago. I've worked a professional baseball game. That's I get to brag about it. I'll probably never want to work another one ever again in my life, but hey, it's one more than anybody else in this chat room has worked. It was
as much as anyone wants to sit there and think that the Avery kid taunt killed us, they were done before that. Stop holding on to illusions that aren't there.
What was the question before that? He was asking about an umpiring question, I think.
Oh, Zach, right? There you go.
Yeah. What do you call? what do you call when you totally miss the pitch?
That's a good
I don't
one.
totally miss pitches. I mean, that's like I know
no,
where it's at.
play into his world, man. If you actually missed one and you're like, fuck, fucking I had sweat in my eye.
Well, you can't call what you can't see. You can't call what you can't see. So you definitely can't call it a strike because you weren't able to see that it was a strike. So by default, you have to call it a ball. But I mean, it's like that's not something that would happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not like it's.
Did you read the rest of the comments?
I called strikes, and once the ball went to the backstop before I relished it. Yeah, I've had situations where there was like, you know, a play and the throw goes to like the third baseman, and you think he's caught it and applied a tag or something like that, and you're ready to call him out, and you realize that the ball's 5 feet behind him because he never caught it and it had trickled away. Things like that. I've had times where I was in my slot, and for reasons that have to do with maybe a lot of different things on the play, the batter, the catcher, and a combination of things, I kind of get shielded and blocked out where I can't track the ball all the way from the pitcher to the catcher to home plate. So now I'm kind of guessing on where I thought the pitch was at because I really wasn't able to see it all the way into the catcher's mitt. You're not totally missing the pitch, but yeah, I mean, I didn't get a good look at it, right? So yeah, I mean, at that point, you call what you see. I mean, and it is what it is. You think you got a strike, it's that's simple. That's the best way I can call it for you. Call what you see. Was that a strike? Okay, then call a strike. Was that a ball? Then call a ball. Was he out? Then call him out. Was he safe? Then call him safe. It doesn't matter what everybody else thinks. It's your judgment.
Going back to Julio. We were done before the Avery penalty. Stop fooling yourself. But I do agree with that one. I think we need to put some penalty thing into some of these guys' contract. Andre Dillard. Is one of them.
That would never happen. The players' union would never allow that to be a thing.
I know.
Listen, and I've always said this. I said this about Doug at the end of his tenure. We were starting to become really teams that commit a ton of penalties are poorly coached. That's just the bottom line. I mean, that's always been the thing in the NFL. Teams, and it's certain penalties, right? There's certain stupid, like it's like unforced errors sort of things, like penalties that are easily preventable, the offsides and the false starts and the things like that. I'm not talking about penalties from being overly physical or things like that, where you're like, you know what? I like the fact that we're playing hard-nosed football there. I don't care that you got called for a personal foul. I'm cool with it. I'm talking about things that are easily preventable. That all comes back to poor coaching. There's a reason why we're averaging 10 or 11, penalties a game. We're poorly coached. It's just not, it's not acceptable to be this undisciplined at the NFL level and commit this many penalties. It's just not. Like, that is, that's high school football bullshit.
You ready for the Hurts defense team to come out again? Here we go.
I I knew this was going to happen.
Who runs shotgun all game?
Guys that can't run football from under center.
Bad quarterbacks.
Chip Kelly.
Because good quarterbacks can do both shotgun, under center, everything. They can run. They can run the offense from anywhere. It doesn't matter.
I mean, it's really obvious that they're trying to mask a lot of Jalen's deficiencies. I mean, it's super obvious that they're like, yeah, we know he can't do this, he can't do this, he can't do that.
Literally, me and you picked up after 2 games. It was like, okay, so it's 1-2 read and throw, 1-2 read and go, right?
That's what it is. It's the same bullshit week in and week out. It's like there's nobody in that building telling him this is bullshit. See this? See this? See this? Like, when he watches film, somebody in that building needs to point out all this bullshit and be like, why'd you leave a clean pocket here? Well, I have no pressure. No. There's no pressure from anywhere. That's a clean pocket. You bailed on it, scrambled out to your left. And when you scramble to your left, you've got one completion all year, because when you scramble to your left, you're not able to swing your shoulders and make an accurate throw.
Matt's bringing us back to earth with a Zach Ertz one. He's, I guess, second most active receptions among tight ends.
He's not getting the Canton. There's nothing he can do to get the Canton. No. You know what you got to do to get the Canton as a tight end? You need to be Tony Gonzalez. You need to be Shannon Sharp. tight end's not just one of those positions where they just throw guys in the Hall of Fame.
And you got to think how long did it take for them to get Kellen Winslow in? He was kind of like the guy,
right? You know,
and he was the guy that made the tight end position.
Premier tight end in the 80s.
Yeah, it was like more like 70s, 80s, but yeah.
Well, yeah, that whole he was in his prime in both decades. I'm not trying to age people too much. You want to give people a little bit more. In the 80s. You're like, you could say the 70s, but then you sound really old. So,
all right, Zach, you're being asked again.
You don't. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Like you don't miss a pitch.
See,
I've never once.
You're gonna jinx him. You know this, right? He's gonna get a penalty against the Raiders now. You know this now.
Well, he was breathing on Brady, and I'm surprised he didn't get called for a 15-yard penalty.
Greg.
Yeah, no, exactly, Greg. Yeah, there's
I'm being nice, man. I'm being nice. I'm gonna put on my fake Jalen Hurts defense team jacket.
It's one and done. He's like, the first guy's not open. Peace out. Like, bro, like this is why you lost your job to Tua at Alabama. Nick Saban's like, bro, I've got 5 studs on the field at all times. Like all 5 of these dudes are going to get drafted to go play in the NFL. Just because Calvin Ridley's not open on the first look doesn't mean you just you ignore Devontae Smith and all these other guys. Like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Now going back to the Hall of Fame thing, because obviously, Greg's throwing in there. If he gets on 2 or 3 more championship teams, I don't even think that. I like maybe a championship team, and he has like 2 or 3 above, above average seasons that could get him in.
He needs to have 3 more 1,000-yard seasons. That his problem was always. He'd have a ton of catches. Great. You caught 105 passes for 980 yards. You know what I'm saying? When Tony Gonzalez was the guy, Kellen Winslow was the guy, Antonio Gates was the guy. These guys that we talk about at the tight end position, Shannon Sharp, they were productive, to the point where you're my man is the bad man right there. Zach Ertz was always
second, and it's 1-1.
Yeah. Yes, I've got the game on live. He was always a good player.
We got to get back into the baseball talk too. We got to make sure we keep bouncing back to that. But Zach, here's another one. He liked Seth Joyner's take on the offense. Either way, need to play more pro style offense, or if Hurts can't, they need to put a. Listen, you're stuck with Jalen Hurts this season.
No, see, I think I agree. Just because I think that's the way it is, you're going to ride him out.
You're stuck with Jalen Hurts this season.
But you're telling me that Gardner Minshew couldn't have made some of those throws on Thursday night, Steven? You're telling me Gardner Minshew doesn't give us a better chance to win Thursday night than Jalen Hurts?
I can't tell you yes or no.
Minshew can throw the ball to the proper shoulder.
I'm not looking at these guys in practice, so I can't tell you. I guarantee you that they would say, yeah,
Gardner Minshew's not a practice squad guy. We've watched Gardner with their own eyes.
Maybe Gardner or Joe is just more technically sound than Jalen, but he'll give us a better chance to win. Come Sunday, come Monday.
Joe Flacco stinks. Joe Flacco's your age. You could do better with your rotator cuff arm than Joe Flacco could do right now. Okay,
I don't know. What about this one? Does this arm do? Will that one work?
That's what I'm saying. With your rotator cuff arm, you'd be better than Joe Flacco. But we've seen Gardner Minshew with our own eye. We've watched Gardner Minshew, in Jacksonville, at least be average, right? Which is better than what Jalen Hurts is at the moment. You can't tell me that Gardner Minshew is going Gardner Minshew's going better than 12 or 26 for $115 Thursday night. Let's be honest. He just is. He's making those. A lot of those throws that Jalen misses, Gardner Minshew makes.
I'm gonna sit back, sip my tea, smoke my goods, and hope for half a season of Minshew mania.
You know what? Now I don't want anything to do with Gardner Minshew. Why do we have to do this in this city?
So I guess that begs the question. So if we're saying that the eye test is over, Jalen's not the guy. How long until the city turns on him is going to be the question now. Zach, you answer that one. How long? How long?
There's a certain group of this fan base that will never turn on him. don't make excuses for him until the day that he leaves town. No, why would you try him again next season if nothing changes for the rest of this season?
All right, Julio, let's slow this one down for a second. All right, if Jalen doesn't work out this season, you have potentially 3 top 15 picks next season. Why would you not move him in the offseason to wherever you can get rid of him? You get a 3rd round, a 4th round, a bag of practice footballs, whatever they happen to throw you. You have capital. You have guys that are you could potentially go through and get in free agency to when Flacco probably retires at the end of the season. You decide you keep Minshew or you don't keep Minshew, and you get yourself a real veteran backup. And then you go out there and you draft a kid, and you don't just throw him to the wolves. You find a guy that you really just sit there and just say, "Hey, watch this guy." I just want you to
go ahead and draft somebody, and then you have Gardner Minshew here to start until the kid's ready, and you feel like you can go and play, and you at least know that Gardner can hold it down and not stink up the joint. And you're like, okay, great, here, and then 8 games into the year.
Listen, if we're drafting a guy, I really realistically, like, I know it's not realistic because that's how this league works, but he should be your 3. You should have Gardner, whatever veteran ahead of him, and then the guy you draft. If you're really sitting there saying that Jalen isn't going to be your guy,
I think for me, and I went on the record of saying this right after the Stafford trade.
Yeah, he called me old, Greg. He calls me old on a regular basis. I don't give a fuck anymore. Could give a fuck less who calls me old anymore, brother.
Oh, man, Greg, this is the type of shenanigans you miss every Saturday night, my man. You got to tune in.
Yeah, y'all don't really know what y'all miss sometimes. I know Saturday nights are crazy for a lot of people. Some nights.
He wouldn't have had to get those rushing TDs CPA because he would have thrown a couple before that, so it wouldn't have mattered, right? But after the Stafford trade, I can't remember if it was on this show.
The thing about that. No, I'll go even further on that. That he would have actually had points on the board before they gotten to that point, and he wouldn't need to run to it.
Right. Exactly. But right after the Stafford trade, I went on the record of saying, watch this start a trend. Watch this start a trend around football. Every offseason now, we're going to see this be a thing. It's kind of like how in the NBA when players
I don't really think you want to be throwing shade at any of the balls that Flacco has or hasn't even thrown this season. When you look at some of the picks that Jalen has thrown, just this year, they're bad.
I don't even think Flacco wants to play. Let's be honest.
I'm
if they told Joe, hey, you're going in, he's like, yeah,
we're just gonna give you a paycheck to hold a clipboard. You can retire. You can retire in the area.
Like, oh, see, like I kind of forgot like my cleats and my jock strap and wait, what? I'm actually playing? Like, well,
no, I don't think it would
be single read and bail anyway. That's not the way the RPO is supposed to work. Nick Foles used to actually run the RPO beautifully, believe it or not.
Yeah,
which sounds weird because he wasn't a running
did it the way you're supposed to do it.
But he did it the way you're supposed to do it. You either stick the ball in the running back's gut, or you pull it out and you're able to go through your progressions, and you're able to do it quickly. And one thing Foles could do was he could go A, B, to C very quickly.
You're giving him a longer list of needs, man, because not only is he on a short leash, but so is the coach.
Yeah, and that's not the way. That's not the way today's NFL works. Like guys, quarterbacks don't get 2.5, 3 years to figure shit out. Like what shit is very early on. After a year and a half, you got it. You figured it out. You know what it is, and you made your decision.
They're taking shots at Howie again. So we've drafted, 2 quarterbacks over the last 6 years. Are you more upset that Howie can't make a good freaking pick on offense or defense, not just quarterbacks? I don't think it's not making a good pick. I think me and Zach kind of really touched on this earlier, that he thinks he's too smart for his own good and makes bad decisions with these earlier picks. But then for whatever reason, it's like somebody hits the reset button on him when it hits day 2 or 3, and he figured out how to draft. Because if you look historically, he's able to get a lot of really good value out of those day 2, day 3 picks. So
Yeah, I mean, you know.
But to your answer, I mean,
My biggest thing with Howie is that he's a weasel.
Every fan is upset with him that he hasn't been able to hit on these top picks, the receivers that we've gotten, the quarterbacks that we've gotten, etc. We shouldn't have had to continually be going back to this well. And here we are again. We're going to probably have to go and use another quarterback with those picks. And I was absolutely with you where we could replenish the defense, where like you have this question where you don't know how much Fletch has left as an elite defensive tackle in this league.
But that's where I disagree. That's where I disagree. And that was my point before about like in the NBA where we've seen star players now force their way out of situations that they're not fans of every single offseason, and some guy gets traded here, and the next offseason this guy gets traded there. The Matthew Stafford thing for me is going to open up that door every offseason. I think we're going to start seeing quarterbacks that hate the situation that they're in. You know, the Matthew Staffords, the Aaron Rodgers, whatever the next guy comes up that decides I can't stand this situation I'm currently in and I want out, and we're going to find, we're going to start seeing this be a thing where instead of, teams holding on to these guys until the end of their contracts, they're just going to find a way to work out a trade with somebody and let it be a win-win for everybody. And that's where those 3 first-round picks could really come in handy.
See, and then it's going to go right into where CPA is talking about. Is right to here. If we have it, you get a linebacker. You're definitely going to need an offensive lineman.
There's some guys that I do like at the quarterback position. I just don't know if you take them at like the top of the board. But yeah, if you've got 3 picks in the top 15, I mean, there's guys that are going to go in that 5 to 12 range where you're like, like Desmond Ridder from Cincinnati looks like a hell of a pro prospect. I don't know if there's anybody that you look at and you go, wow, this kid's a stud. Like when we had Herbert and guys like that coming out. But, that doesn't mean that these guys aren't good prospects. Malik Willis from Liberty is a kid that people are like, who the fuck Liberty? You fucking kidding me? Yeah, Hugh Freeze is coaching at Liberty. They've got a legitimate offense. Go watch the kid. He's going to be a top 10 pick for a reason. I'm not saying you take him with the top pick, but for today's NFL, they're what you want in quarterbacks. The athletic.
Listen.
Everything you want Jalen Hurts to be is what these guys are.
Guess what? It's not. He's not the guy. It's not just the core. It's not just an offensive coordinator. He's not the guy. He's not. The guy.
Yeah. Well, I don't understand this. Why? Why is there such an a group of this fan base? Like, how do you watch Jalen Hurts play and go, oh yeah, he's the guy?
And then here we go. Where do you see Russell Wilson in him?
Exactly. Where have you seen Russell Wilson at any point? I hate when people do this. Use your eyes. Just because they're both under 6 foot tall and they're undersized and they're black doesn't mean that they're going to be the same fucking player.
Russell Wilson doesn't throw off his back foot and throw it 20 yards out of bounds.
Russell Wilson understands when I've got a guy off sides and it's a free play, I actually take my shot and I don't just throw a ball away. Russell Wilson understands when it's 4th down, I don't just throw the ball out of bounds. I actually take my shot because what the fuck's the difference? Russell Wilson can fit a ball through a Cheerio-sized window.
And now here's the other one. Now everyone's going to start clamoring that we use it for Watson. No, please.
I do like Watson. I mean, listen,
I like Watson as a player, but I don't know what we're dealing with that's surrounding him right now.
He did nothing criminal. Now, is he a scumbag? A piece of shit. But there's nothing criminal there.
But also, nor am I willing to give up that more than 2 first-round draft picks for him. It's not happening.
Why? You're never going to have Deshaun. You either have Deshaun Watson or you don't. It's not like, oh, we can go find. No, you can't. You can't. You're not going to find a quarterback like Deshaun Watson.
Obviously, we can't.
You know what I'm saying? Well, exactly. So if you want Deshaun Watson, go get him.
Jay hits it right on the head.
Jalen Hurts and 3 first-round picks to make it happen. I do.
Jay just hits it right on the head. It's garbage. It's garbage. I don't know how much more I can watch, man. I'm with you. It's garbage because of the inconsistency. That they can play better football than this. I think that's the part that the fans aren't accepting. They're not going to sit on their hands with it about. And most of us who've watched football long enough aren't just going to sit there and say, "Oh, this is on Jalen." Oh, this is on the whole lot of them.
I mean, yeah, it's exactly like we said. Nick Sirianni has his own issues. Jalen Hurts has his own issues. Jonathan Gannon, the defensive coordinator, has his own issues. You know, they all have their own issues. I don't think any of them are really related, though. Yeah, as I said, Flacco's fucking garbage. Flacco came here because he's from the area, and
there's the one right there. Hurts is your guy, not mine, not ours. Your guy. Listen, I don't have. I love his swagger and things of that nature, like who Jalen is as a love him. He's not my quarterback. Not my quarterback.
Great. So Jalen's Jalen's Geno Smith with swagger. Lovely. Just what I need for my franchise.
He's not. I don't know if we need to get him out of here. He could be a nice backup if you make a move and get another guy.
He works really hard. Listen, he's a great leader. All those qualities will keep him around the NFL for a long time. He'll have a successful NFL career. When you talk about like Geno Smith's had a successful NFL career. He's going to start for Seattle tomorrow because Russell Wilson's now hurt for the next 6 weeks. So Geno Smith's going to start some games for Seattle. Geno Smith's been in the league for a decade now. He started for the Jets. He started for Seattle. He's been a backup for a lot of teams. Tyrod Taylor, same thing, right? Been in the league a long time, had a cup of tea with a couple teams, been a successful backup. That's a successful NFL career. That's what that is, absolutely. But that's what his upside is. He's that.
All right. Listen, you want to know who he aspires to be? Jameis Winston. What Jameis Winston's doing right now, and he aspires to be.
Jameis Winston has 10 times the arm talent that Jalen Hurts does.
As I said, he aspires.
Jalen Hurts wakes up every day thinking he's Russell Wilson, and then when you watch him actually play football, you go, "Yeah, you're Jalen Hurts." And I think he actually has people in his ear telling him, and this is why we're in this situation. There's people in that building telling him he can be the next Russell Wilson, and he just can't.
CPA wants to know you're Howie Roseman. You're in the draft mood next year. You got 2 top 15 picks. What are you dressing?
I'm getting positions that can help me right away. I don't want to say is there a quarterback I like? There probably is a quarterback I like there, but it doesn't mean I take them. There's going to be plenty of players at skill positions that I think can step in right away and have an impact for us.
You putting your Howard. Listen. You're able to do your own draft.
I never pass it down. Like for me, I would have been perfectly okay with taking Justin Fields. This year over Devontae Smith at that pick. Like if Fields was there, I would have been perfectly okay with that. I would have been. Because, getting a talent, and if there's a guy, if Malik Willis turns into that guy next year, where at 12, you can get Malik Willis at quarterback, I take a chance on him because I think when you look at Justin Fields, just say, yeah, that he to me looks like a franchise quarterback. And, if he's there, if a guy like that is there at 12 next year, I'm always looking for a franchise quarterback, always, because you need one in this league. You have to have one. I'm always looking for it, no matter where I can get it. If I spot one, I'm going to try to get it.
Definitely with you there. I still don't think that there's one in this draft that I would waste the top 15 on. That's just me.
Well, and this is the way it's always going to work. Guys shoot up draft boards the later we get, into this process, right? And then you watch some guy on film who you didn't get to watch, like a guy, like I'm saying, when people are like Malik Willis, Liberty. Yeah, when was the last time you watched a Liberty game? Probably never, right? But then all of a sudden you go and you watch a guy on Greg's watched him. Greg Malekovich has because he's a Liberty flamer. Greg's a Liberty University guy, so Greg's seen him, so Greg will know what I mean, right? But most people haven't seen the guy. But then all of a sudden you go and watch a guy on film and you're like, wow, hey, okay, I see. Now I see. My own eyes tell me, yeah, this guy could play. And then they do a couple things, in the build up to the draft in the process. We're not talking about 40-yard times. We're not talking about Jalen squatting 600 yards. But remember when Zach Wilson made that throw at the combine this past year, running full sprint to his right, and he threw that ball 70 yards on a seam and hit a receiver in stride at the goal line, and you went, wow, that's sexy. You can't teach that. There is nothing that you can that is you either have that or you don't. Those are the things that you can learn about a guy just using your eyes and be like, I didn't watch a ton of BYU football. I didn't really know what Zach Wilson was. But you know what? your eyes tell you he's got, what it takes to play at the NFL level. There's just a lot of other things that go into that. He seems like a little bit of a head case. And I'll tell you what, it's never a good sign when your teammates, and I'll say that because I think it's appropriate. I think it all fits in. Zach Wilson, he's a Mormon kid, right? Mormon, we all get the Mormon religion. It's kind of out there in their own little world. And then he had a couple of black teammates that were doing their dap up handshake thing next to him. And you should have seen the side eye my man was giving these guys. What's wrong with their handshake that they're doing, man? What's wrong with that? And he was just kind of what the hell is that whole thing? You never saw that at BYU? That doesn't happen in Mormon football? I don't know if that type of dude's made out for the NFL level. Just saying.
Man. And real quick, switching gears, real here as we get into the second hour, make sure all the fans heading over to YouTube and hitting up the A2D membership, $9.99 a month. Make sure you're checking out all the perks, appearance on the shows, member only shows, the shout outs, the weekly sports pick from the Money Pot guys and Big Willie Vegas, the member giveaways that we've been hooking everybody up with. The fans been enjoying that too as well. I think we've done a few, here over the last week or so, 2 weeks. Our man Bill got one himself. He just got his today. He's talking
that's not true. I completely disagree with that. That's what I'm saying. Watch, y'all are going to learn the later we get into this process, and the more you watch guys that are coming out in this draft at the quarterback position, that there's some guys that are good prospects, and it's and that's always the way this works. You ever realize the guy that was the hot prospect before the year never ends up being the guy, come the time? Trevor Lawrence was that guy, but he's been that guy for 3 years, right? He was a rare example. The year before, Tua was that guy, tank for Tua. And the next thing you know, Joe Burrow's the top pick because he's just that much better than Tua. And Justin Herbert's also better than Tua, right? So going into that draft, it was all tank for Tua, tank for Tua, tank for Tua. And then the later you got into that process, the more you realize Burrow and Herbert and those guys are really the real pimps in that draft, and it's not Tua. So, it's the same thing with this draft.
I guess Jay is not a fan of the RPOs, especially with the way today's NFL is.
Yeah, I agree. The RPOs are just, especially the way we run them, Because one of two things is going to happen. Either Jalen Hurts is going to run the football.
I agree with this part of it too. That Howie doesn't know how to put he's a numbers guy. He's always been a numbers guy. He's the contract guy and things of that nature. I don't think he should have anything to do with what goes on inside of a draft.
Put a team together. He doesn't put a team together the conventional way of looking at talent and going, this guy is the best player at that position, yada, 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 yada. Howie looks at it I've always said this with the Jalen Reagor pick. When he saw Jefferson and Reagor, his idea with the Reagor pick is, is Jefferson a better prospect right now? He might be. Reagor, I think can grow to a level where they're close enough players where long-term Reagor's the better pick because I know I'm going to have to give Jefferson an extension within his first 2 years because he's going to be that good. Whereas Reagor, I can let him play out that rookie contract and get more bang for my buck. When we're just sitting here I don't really give a fuck about your bang for your buck, Howie. I want to see a guy go out and make plays.
That's what I want to see. Eddie Bretta, where did we say that he was garbage? We said this offense was garbage. We did not say he's the worst quarterback in the league. I don't care. He's played 20 games. I don't care what the stats are either way.
Yeah,
don't care.
Stats are for losers. Okay. Everybody that I'm so tired of these people in our chat room with stats. Stats
all
are
right,
for losers.
So all right, here's a stat for you. How many quarters has Jalen Hurts held a lead in his NFL career, and then get back to me. After that, we can start talking about stats. All right? Because I don't want to hear this nonsense about stats anymore. I'm getting sick of it.
It's been 9 fucking starts. It's been 10 starts, and he's played in 20 games. 20. 25, actually, because he played in 15 games last year. No. Yeah, 15 games last year, so that's been 20 games. Yeah. Okay. My math is hard.
Listen. Rodgers is retiring after the season. Anyone who else thinks anything else otherwise is fooling themselves. But I agree that Devontae Adams will probably be gone once Rodgers either retires or whatever he does. You never know. He could try to think he's he's got that Tom Brady juice and is gonna play till he's 55, and at least that's what he's saying now.
I mean, like a guy like Matt Ryan, I think is going to be, like some guy where you look at and go, the Falcons probably try to find a way to
listen,
work
I'm a
trade
Penn
out for
State
him as
guy,
opposed
but
to just letting him walk.
CPA, I'm a Penn State guy, but that's a mistake. They're not all beasts. You listen. There's plenty other teams I would like to pluck and just put right
PSU,
on.
Y'all are PSU guys.
Yeah, I'm a PSU guy.
Yeah, I know.
PSU, Villanova Temple. Those
You
are
know
the
what
ones.
PSU stands for, right? Pedophile State University.
Oh, I knew you were gonna go there. Mr. Burr going after the low hanging fruit again.
Don't rape kids. It's not that hard. Is it that hard of a concept? See, again, that's I said there's a couple groups of people. There's your other, that's another group of people that like deserves every low blow that comes their way. Don't fuck children. That shouldn't be. That's not that hard of a concept. And guess what? If you get caught fucking children, I am literally going to take shots at you every chance I get.
So Bill thinks we're going to be 4, 6, and 10 with all are going to be inside the top 10, and he's praying for that linebacker. Listen. I outside of like outside of I think of a handful of players. I actually liked what I seen out of Devontae Taylor last week.
Davion Taylor's going to be a player in this league, and I think I tried to tell people that last year, and they just didn't want to be patient enough. They're like, you can't tell that. I'm like, any linebacker that has the athleticism to go sideline to sideline the way he does has a chance to be a player in this league. Like,
I think his biggest thing is I think I think it was the second touchdown, the OJ Howard one. I think that where we see Kerrigan on him. I think that was Davion's assignment. So I said, like, it's one of those things, like what I say, but he still got some things to work on. But I like him there. I don't think you really need. I just think you need somebody. You need your trot. You need your guy in the middle that can go up there in the trenches and pop one of those 250 pound linebackers that are running at you like a freight train and hit them and move them back.
Davion Taylor's the only linebacker on our roster that I actually like long term. TJ Edwards is just a special teamer. He's just a guy. Special team player of the week. Good for you. Now
this is the other one. How he's gonna blow, like that's the overall senses of the fan base is that how he blow this up.
But you know what? I'd rather have 3 top 10 picks. Then not. I mean, well, he's going to blow them anyway, so what's the point? The point is you have 3 top 10 picks. That's the point. It's hard to, that was my point last year with the Devontae Smith pick. The higher you pick, the harder it is to fuck it up because sometimes the pick just makes itself for you. It just does. Like, just in the Carson Wentz year.
Eddie, ain't no one disagreeing with that. No one's in love with a single quarterback that's in this draft right now.
I disagree completely. I disagree. Did you watch Ritter? Have you been watching Ritter at Cincinnati? I'm sorry. Have you watched that kid?
No, I haven't.
I promise you he's already better than Jalen Hurts.
He's saying Julio's drunk. I guess one of the other guys.
You know what I really like? If he comes out this year, I think he would benefit to stay in school one more year because he could be the top pick, not this upcoming year, but the year after. But Matt Corral out of Ole Miss, I really like him.
I don't even think it's that his just arm isn't an NFL arm. I just think in certain situations he doesn't react like you want a quarterback to react in some of those situations.
It's both. You're right, Jay. His arm isn't an NFL arm, but Steven, to your point, it's also the other side of that where like there's been plenty of guys that have had average NFL arms and have gotten by because the way that they read a defense, their ability to go through their progressions, their ability to make quick decisions. Jalen doesn't have any of that. You watch him stare down Miles Sanders the entire time Thursday night and then just throw that floater over the top. You're like, how is that ball
that's
not
a good question. There's a good question. Why are we only running the ball once and a half? It has to be due to the inefficiency of your quarterback and the fact that we've
already talked about that with Sirianni, Stephen. We're beating a dead horse there. But to the RPO point now. Okay, so I think there's a point when you watch the RPO offense and you watch Jalen never leave the ball in fucking Miles Sanders' stomach and always pull it out and try to run with it. and then get smacked in the mouth.
Everyone's stuck on Deshaun Watson being the
Because he is
best
the best
option.
option. Let's be honest, he is the best option. And you've got a young receiver in Devontae Smith and young, you've got young offensive weapons, to be honest. Young receivers,
CPA's right back at it. Yeah, he is, but he's overrated. We'll waste him away either way. Not worth too
why
high
is Watson overrated? Because he tries to get happy endings when he gets massages. I mean, that makes him a scumbag. I mean, I don't even know if it makes him a scumbag.
I gotta pump the brakes on this one. Listen,
Will Smith.
He's a pro level quarterback, but he's a bottom tier. He's a bottom middle tier.
A pro level quarterback. Geno Smith's a pro level quarterback. Cordell Stewart played in the league for a long time. He had a nice run.
I agree with that. He's going to be here 2 years, regardless of what we do. If we're out on him or not, that he's going to be here.
I mean, that all comes down to what they decide, next year. But if you've decided after this year that he's not the guy, it's really hard to keep him another year. It just is. If you think of it, when have you seen that situation? Once a franchise decides this isn't the guy.
But Don, this is something we've been sitting there beating to death. It's because of who he is. It's because of what his limitations are. This is what they're doing to try to mask, his inefficiencies.
If he could line up under center and run a conventional offense, he would, but he can't. He just can't. They're trying to put him.
We said this, Don. We already said it. We've already beaten this one.
Situation at any point in Jalen Hurts' career where he was successfully, running plays from under center. It's just not what he does. And I
think that's the best one there. You probably put great there. You can put great leader. You can put great leader because he is a leader. That's something you can't take away. Like I said, but that's why I was sitting there saying, people are getting mad about this. It's not like we're tearing this kid apart on every aspect of it. We're just sitting there saying, listen, look at it with an objective eye and tell me this is the guy, because he's not. Love him, love his attitude, who he all that. He's just
I love him as a kid and as a person. Yeah, love the kid to death. My eyes have never lied to me though before, Steven. I've been doing this since I was 4 years old, and I used to be, hanging out in sports conversations and sports debates with my older brothers and my uncles and my cousins, and I'm the youngest one there holding my own because I've understood how to trust my eyes from a young age. Too many people will play fantasy football nowadays, and they go, "Oh, all those things you said about him are true, but did you know that he's the 8th best fantasy quarterback?" Fantasy football and real football aren't they're just not the same thing, and they're not even close to the same thing. They're two completely different things. Fantasy football, he can run for 2 touchdowns and he can win you your fantasy league. Real football, he goes 12 for 26 for 115 yards, and that'll never cut it. I agree. I actually think Malik Willis will be the first QB off the board in the draft. Absolutely, Jay. People are going to be shocked, be like, "Oh, a kid from Liberty?" Yeah, he'll be a top 5 pick. Absolutely. And what I love about quarterbacks in college, obviously you love to see the skill set, but I love a guy who plays for, somebody that you can look at and go, look at the system he comes from, like Matt Corral from Ole Miss, playing for Lane Kiffin. Love the fact that he plays for a guy like Lane Kiffin.
Don, this is why we sit there and rip apart people who use that Russell Wilson comment. He's Russell. No.
And if we're being honest, the whole reason that he gets compared to Russell Wilson is because they're similar size, similar stature, and they're both black. That's literally, and it's the most disrespectful thing. Literally that, how disrespected are you if you're Russell Wilson, that every black quarterback that comes around that's similar in size and stature to you and has, this guy's a dual threat quarterback, all of a sudden gets compared to you. Disrespected you have to feel if you're Russell Wilson in that situation? If he was white, they'd be comparing him to Johnny Manziel right now, Steven. That's literally the comparison we'd be making. Let's be honest. He looks like Johnny Manziel out there.
And the worst part is we've ripped apart Cleveland quarterbacks in the past, like even Baker Mayfield. He's a quarterback. He's an NFL quarterback.
Right. Yes.
Now, we're looking at Jalen Hurts, it's just not a comparison. I don't care who if you've seen someone said to say Teddy Bridgewater would be a good guy to like that is a downgrade in an older broken down version of him. Like stop it, people.
Teddy Bridgewater's exponentially better than Jalen Hurts. I mean, that's not even close.
Listen, I was with all you guys on that with Michael Parsons.
Michael Parsons.
Don't get me wrong either. I love him too, but you needed Devontae Smith.
All night, Julio.
you needed Devontae Smith, but I'm definitely with you. I was
pounding the table for Michael Parsons. Stingley.
Big Pete's up in the house. What's up, Pete? I mean, of course we're going to agree to pull. It's just this. Zach just sitting there saying it's not growing pains. It's just pain.
Exactly. It feels like I snapped both my arms and legs in half, and two compound fractures. Snap of both limbs, both arms and legs, in like some type of terrible like snowboarding accident of some kind. It's just. Go back to the one before that. Go back to the one before that.
Well, do you want to talk about the pick? Yeah, there.
The comment before that. Speaking of quarterbacks who could go, we talking about Willis and all that. A guy we didn't mention. I don't know if it's local, but anybody that's been paying attention to college football knows the kid that plays at Pittsburgh has a really, really good chance to become a very, very good NFL quarterback. Big, strong, 6'5", 230 pounds. Just has, all types of NFL skill when you watch him play the quarterback position. Matt Corral, now the quarterback from Ole Miss. I don't know if that's who you were talking about. I don't think.
I think like Matt, isn't that 6'9" dude? Yeah, that's what he said.
I don't think he's 6'9". No. I mean, none of that. But listen, I'm a fan of guys like Lane Kiffin. Is a guy that has coached how many different NFL offensive players throughout his college career. Like he understands how to prepare players for the next level, and he always has. I love a guy that has NFL skill, and then you go, well, look who coached him in college. That's not a bad guy. Yeah, that's somebody that definitely has NFL pedigree attached to him. That's never a bad thing. NFL skill coached by NFL pedigree. Gotta love it. Well, the Dolphins are fucked because they were putting everything into the fact that Tua was the guy and he's not. See, and this is what I love. People want to do this shit with Jalen. Well, he's only started this many games. We got to give him time. Why? Are we giving Tua more time? Have we not already made up our minds that Tua's just not the guy for Miami?
Bottom of the fourth, 2-1, the Dodgers. You feeling the Dodgers taking this one again? Taking the series again? I mean, they did it last year. I mean, it was more more dramatic last year with the come from being down 3 games.
The Dodgers are the best organization in baseball right now. That's really what they are. The Dodgers have morphed themselves into the closest thing we've ever seen to George Steinbrenner's Yankees. Like literally, that's what the Dodgers. I mean, think about the sustained level of success.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Every single year, they're going to be there in the picture. It is not just, they have 3 good years, then a couple bad ones, and then they're back for 3 more good ones. It's every single year they're one of the best teams in baseball, and they do it in different ways. They went out and acquired Max Scherzer this year. How do you go out and acquire Max Scherzer for nothing like that?
Did we give Carson a chance?
They get Max Scherzer and Trey Turner for nothing. They got to resign Scherzer for sure. They're going to resign both of them. Sure, you're the Dodgers. Why not? Just add 2 more fucking studs to the stable. But I'm pulling for the Astros because you know how I love the fact that they trigger people, and it just. How about suck on this dynasty? How about that? Oh, you triggered motherfuckers. Go ahead and suck on this.
I don't want to see that. I'd rather see the Dodgers and the Red Sox. I'm sorry.
Why? The Red Sox cheated in the same way the Astros did. Hell, the Astros' old fucking hitting coach is now the manager of the Red Sox. This shit all like that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, and then the Dodgers go and win, and we find out in 10 years that the Dodgers were cheating in some type of obnoxious way.
Oh my God! There's a comment. Hurts should change his number to 40 and apologize to Chris Sims.
I wouldn't, Steven. You know, I've always defended Chris Sims. I think Chris Sims. I think he's a tool bag, but I think one thing Chris Sims does really well is evaluate quarterback play. I think he evaluates the quarterback position very, very fairly. Let's get Devontae. Why? So Jalen could just like miss him when he's wide open? Like, I don't.
That's
Good
more
as Devontae
believable.
Smith when you don't have a quarterback that can throw you the football.
That's more believable.
Aaron Rodgers isn't going anywhere outside of the West Coast, okay? If you honestly think Aaron Rodgers is going somewhere like Pittsburgh where it still snows, like Aaron Rodgers is so sick and tired of the cold. He's like 40 now. He's a West Coast kid. Aaron Rodgers has stopped giving a fuck so much that when he throws touchdown passes, he does imaginary smoking weed celebrations. Like he sits there and pretends he's smoking the blunt. That's how much Aaron Rodgers has stopped giving a fuck.
All right. What about Middlebrook's one here? Here's a poll question. Would any other quarterback in the league trot out on that field Thursday after being told by Nick that you can't hand the ball off and only throw to regular Smith and win?
Smith, we have two Smiths on the receiving corps. I didn't. Smith and Smith. It sounds like a goddamn lawyer firm.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean Rager, Smith, and Watkins. I mean, if we're being honest, let's be honest here. Hold on, let's be honest here. Because fuck that. I'm tired of acting like we don't have any weapons on the outside anymore. Because Quez Watkins has all of a sudden. If you just trust your eyes, Quez Watkins is a legitimate NFL weapon. Like a straight up fucking mismatch at the NFL level. If he just had a quarterback that knew how to fucking exploit that mismatch every chance he got. But if you put Quez Watkins in any competent NFL offense, my man is balling out on a weekly basis. Like you put Quez Watkins, you could trade Quez Watkins for Tyreek Hill right now, and they wouldn't miss much in that Kansas City offense. Like Patrick Mahomes would make him look that good. Because he's got shit you can't teach. So to sit here, I'm so sick and tired of this argument, as if Devontae Smith wasn't a complete stud muffin coming out of Alabama. As if Watkins hasn't shown us that he's a legitimate NFL player.
Molly, Zach had already said this about week 3. Zach said this a few weeks
Listen,
ago.
the Colts have some wins coming. The Colts play the Texans this week. They're going to beat the Texans. They play another shitty team the week after that. The Jaguars, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's what Bill said. He said Ed Quez. He didn't mean Quez. So
I know you meant Quez. I know. That's why I knew you meant Smith and Quez. But you were saying their names. Well, like Jay, imagine telling a quarterback to go out and win imagine telling a quarterback that they have to go out and throw to those 3 guys and win a football game. Well, 2 of those 3 guys look like they're going to be really fucking good. One of them looks like he's going to be an all-pro. The other one looks like, yeah, you're a legitimate weapon in this league, and you will be for a long time, huh? Absolutely. I'm with it. He referring to Deshaun Watson. Nothing wrong with the happy ending, L-Rock. He didn't commit a crime. He's a creep, not a criminal.
What's up, boys? I needed
You
to
can be a creep. There's plenty of creeps in the NFL. There's 2 of them sitting on a show right now. I mean,
all right,
you can be a creep and be successful in life.
Here you go, brother. Are you with Colin here that Josh Allen's going to be the next TB?
No, they're nothing. What? Josh Allen. If anything, Josh Allen. What would be a proper Josh Allen comparison? Because Tom Brady goes to sleep at night and like dreams about having like the ability of Josh Allen. Like, Josh Allen is like a more athletic Ben Roethlisberger with Brett Favre's arm and gunslinging ability. Like, I don't know if we've even seen anything like the guy, to be honest. Like, he's like Ben Roethlisberger and Brett Favre combined into a single quarterback. That's what Josh Allen is. You like that one, Steven? Is that a good comp?
Possibly, brother. Possibly.
I mean, if you watch Allen with your eyes, it's a decent comp, right? Absolutely. No, I mean, and listen, and people like as soon as you call him Geno Smith, people think you're being disrespectful. And you're like, last time I checked, Geno Smith's been in the league for over a decade, right? Like, as soon as you call him Tyrod Taylor,
Well,
people think you're being disrespectful.
everyone thinks he's going to be the superstar. He's a starting quarterback, and that's talking
and
to
not
him.
Everybody's Russell Wilson, right? But that doesn't mean you're not a good NFL player.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to be Russell Wilson. But Geno Smiths and Tyrod Taylors are valuable in this league. You need guys like that can step in and play backup quarterback for you. You know, Jacoby Brissett's another guy. Like, you know, imagine if he has like a, you know, Jacoby Brissett's kind of that guy that's turning into that now, right? Like, is he garbage? He's not garbage. He's just not good, but he's good enough to, you know,
Guys, don't do this to me. Derek Carr
and make plays for you.
I mean, I know I was sitting there saying we needed a veteran.
You know what? Hold on. You know what? That's not a bad outside the box idea. Hold on a second, Steven. This is not a crazy idea. It's not at all, especially with everything that's happened now, because they might just be kind of motivated to be like, you know what? Let's just kind of start over from there and kind of see where it goes. You know, we were winning 8 or 9 games a year with you as our quarterback anyway. We're not going to sign, you know, it's just, you know, Gruden's gone. Let's just move on. That's not a bad idea. He's done with the guaranteed money, so he is free. See, that's the boom. Williams nailed it. I was talking about the guy this offseason that's going to try to work his way out of the current situation. He's
the free agent you hope becomes available. He's the free agent you hope comes available.
Instead of trade for Derek Carr, you do it. And Derek Carr is also a guy where you're not going to have to give up Jalen Hurts and all 3 first-round picks. You could give up 2 first-round picks, and they'll make that deal. And, you know, are you giving up too much? Maybe, but you know what? You're still like, I'm still okay with that. I give up 2 first-round picks to get a franchise quarterback, and I still have a first-round pick to spend.
Don, I'm going to be sitting there telling you this. You don't need it. You just need to find that middle linebacker.
Yeah, you can go sign a guy for all I give a fuck. You know, look around the league at the good linebackers. Even the guys from a couple years ago when we wanted Patrick Queen, right? You know, when we wanted guys like that, they weren't top 10 picks. Like, linebacker's not one of those positions that you do that. You can find a franchise linebacker in the 2nd round. You just got to pull the trigger and draft the guy and make the decision to do it.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Yeah, I mean, because our philosophy with drafting linebackers isn't bad. I like the idea of drafting linebackers in the 3rd round. You just got to make sure they can actually play.
Now, here's the other side of this. Obviously, we see how this offense is run and seeing how they want to run things. Would you think about trading Miles and getting what you can get for him?
Listen, this is the whole point of having 3 first-round picks. I keep every single option on the table available. Every single one. That's why I got myself in this position to begin with. I want to have as much leverage as possible. And me having the 3 first-round picks gives me all the leverage. I now get to demand how this goes.
Now it is 2-2. 2-2, bottom 4.
You know, say I want to take those 3 first-round picks and I want to trade up for the top pick in the draft because I've identified a quarterback that I like that much. Well, guess what? Those 3 first-round picks will get you to the top of the draft. They really will. Say you want to keep all 3 first-round picks because you feel like you've got enough holes and that's what you want to do. Okay, then you could do that. You could spend a couple of them for Derek Carr like we talked about. That's the beauty of having all these first-round picks is now you're in control. You have the leverage. And one thing I do trust Howie with, if you give Howie the leverage, you're fucked. Because that's where, like, that's how he's gig. That's how he's deal. That's what Howie understands. Howie understands that side of it. Don't give Howie leverage. It's the last thing you want to do.
And he was like, you draft a quarterback in the draft, it's going to be a lot of A2D.
I don't think – why, Eddie? Why would there be a lot of angry A2D lives? It can't be any worse than what we've already seen with Jalen Hurts.
And I'm pretty sure, like, you know, we all love the Devontae Smith one. I don't think anyone liked the Reagor one. Listen,
and you know what's changing? You know what's affecting that? I mean, Jalen Reagor is literally a 6-week stretch of great football play away from changing people's opinions on that. I mean, Justin Jefferson had a great first year, but has he not, like, kind of really, really, like, just kind of plateaued since then and been like, you're just a guy now?
John, what are you talking about? He's not a practice squad guy. I think he's proven that over this season. The only guy that on the roster that should be a practice
you mean
squad.
A PlayStation guy. I agree. He is a PlayStation guy. Quez Watkins is one of those guys you take on the PlayStation and you just absolutely dominate the competition with because he does. He's got like video game type like skills. Like yes, like yeah. Is that what you mean? Oh no, you mean a practice squad guy? Well, you're an idiot.
I don't know if he said anything else after that. I'm gonna try to get to it in a second.
No, but Patrick Mahomes is that good. You put Quez Watkins on the Chiefs offense and watch him be like one of the best receivers in football. You think Patty Mahomes can throw a ball 80 yards if he wants to. He'll just tell Quez, hey, just run deep every play. Just run deep. I'm going to throw it far enough and you just run under it and catch it. It's really simple. We're just going to be like, we're going to Randy Moss this shit out here. I'll just chuck it up there, dog, and you go get it. I'm with you. You need some bad motherfuckers. You need a Bill Romanowski on your team. Remember Bill Romanowski?
Oh, man. That's one nasty mofo.
Use the N-word. Bill Romanowski was a bad, bad man. Spit on black people and used the N-word and then claim he wasn't racist. You're like, I don't know. That's kind of racist, Bill. But you know what? Like, hey, people were scared of that motherfucker.
Josh Allen is more no. Steve Young still didn't have his athleticism, so no.
Steve Young had his athleticism, but Steve Young wasn't the freak of nature that Josh Allen is. Josh Allen's a freak of nature. Steve Young was phenomenal. Like Steve Young was like that was the joke I was making earlier when like I was like Jalen Hurts like if he was white people compare him to Steve Young.
Jimmy G over Derek Carr though?
No, absolutely not. No, Eddie. Listen, Eddie. I respect you tuning in, man, but you have not had a solid take at any point on this show, bro. Come on, Eddie. Come on, Eddie. Let's go, Eddie. You got to give me a better effort than that, Eddie. Come on. Jimmy G over Derek Carr? Come on, bro. Jimmy G stinks. Jimmy Garoppolo is like dog dribble. I'll take Jalen Hurts over Jimmy Garoppolo. Taylor Heine. Listen, I've always said, you never trust a grown man named Heine. That's never like that's not like means for success. But Taylor Heineke or Heineken, whatever the hell his name is. I mean, you watch your hell. He in the playoff game last year, you were like, hey, this kid's got something. Like he's a better player than Jalen Hurts.
Did you just say Cam Newton? Cam Newton. Did you just say Cam Newton? Stop it. Stop it. Who are you trying to convince that?
What is up? Why
Who are
Cam
you trying
Newton?
to convince of that?
Why Cam Newton? Why? Cam Newton's as washed up as Joe Flacco at this point. I mean, like, what are we talking about?
Wow.
Spencer Rattler stinks. He just lost his job to a true freshman. Caleb Williams just destroyed TCU today and started the game like 11 for 11. Spencer Rattler ain't getting his job back, bro. Spencer Rattler's going to transfer next year to somewhere because he just killed his draft stock and lost his job all in like a 6-week period. That's hard to do.
Bill's
Speaking of records, that's a new one.
Bill's on board with the Sanders being moved thing. So
I don't think you move Sanders before the deadline, but 2 first-round picks and Miles Sanders get you almost anywhere you need to next year, no matter what you want it to be for any quarterback. I'll give you a first-round pick and Miles Sanders for Derek Carr.
Isn't his contract up?
I think the guaranteed money in his contract is up. They can cut him if they want to.
Yeah,
but if you can trade him, you're going to trade him, right? You're not going to cut him. You're going to trade him and see what you can get for him because he's good enough to get value. So you're not going to cut him. You're going to say, hey, his guaranteed money's up. We're trying to trade him. We want to actually get something back. And, you find something that's a win-win for everybody. That's why I love the fact that he brought up Derek Carr. Derek Carr becomes the Matthew Stafford of this upcoming offseason. That's what he's going to be. All the guaranteed money's gone in that contract, and 2 teams are going to work a deal out.
We have to take a breath on the Quez thing. I've already asked this question, I don't think he's a weapon. We're not sitting there saying like he's a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL. He's a playmaking weapon.
Just like we knew Deshaun Jackson was a playmaker within 4 weeks of his NFL day. Like you watch that kid and you were like, yeah, this is something. He's got something. You can't teach what he's got. And this kid's going to be a problem. We knew that. We knew that watching D Jackson the preseason because, like, your eyes tell you everything you need to know about a guy's skill set. Like, you just knew that.
Hey, John, you're more than welcome to come on here and try to run your mouth on here and get shut the fuck down. So keep trolling the comments,
lucky
buddy.
for you, you can tune in next week when Alan will be coming on and 2 other guests, and we're going to have a jam-packed show. See, unfortunately, we were going to have a guest at 9 o'clock, but something fell through, so now me and Steven have to be the fodder and entertain people and provide some filler. And lucky for you, John, your boy right here, this fucking pretty face right here, I could talk my way out of any situation, okay? So what you're not understanding, home dog, is I will run circles around you in this sports talk game like every single come on and give me your best shot, bro. Give me your best shot any chance, any day. You pick the day. You pick the day. You pick the time. You pick the subject, and I'll take you to school, homie, okay? That's how that'll go.
Listen, man, we placate.
Because you say stupid shit and then get mad when people call you out for your nonsense. We don't do that shit on this show. You better be coming with something fucking. You better be coming with some fire, or don't be coming at all.
I'll just say it like this: when it comes to the comments like that, like, listen, we have a general idea of what we're doing with the program. Things happen at times, and you pivot from things. You guys are keeping the content fun in the chat, and we're gonna keep it going, keeping your comments coming up here.
Steven keeps everything on the rails, and I'm just kind of a knucklehead.
Listen, I could also be that dick and skip over every fucking one of your comments moving forward.
Like,
it's up to you
and your stupid fucking comments.
It's up to you how we deal with you. Keep it fun and keep it nice. You want to run your mouth? We can come. Like I said, we can bring you on here and really have some fun with you. Where there's gonna be no end to it. You get a little break here on the keyboard.
I've been trying to keep Eddie at bay, but he got Eddie. You don't know. What do you mean? There's no good option? I just literally. I'm telling. No, you're wrong. We can revisit this at this time next year. Come revisit me Thanksgiving of next year. How about that? I'll give you to Thanksgiving of 2022. Come revisit this conversation then. I guarantee you, there's at least one franchise quarterback. I think there's 2 franchise quarterbacks in this upcoming draft. This idea, all these options stink. You didn't even know who Malik Willis was until I mentioned his name. You never even seen it. Like, you haven't seen the kid play a lick of football. You haven't watched any film, haven't seen him live in a game. You didn't even know the kid existed until I mentioned his name. And you want to sit here and try to tell people there ain't any good names next year.
I don't know why you even mentioned Howard there, because Howard isn't a young running back. In any sense, he's closer to 30 now. Miles, Gainwell are 2 of your younger ones.
What
Miles,
are you talking about?
Miles, the only one.
Howard.
Isn't Howard like 28?
Howard's young?
Something? That's what I said.
I mean, like, young is in like I'm 28. I'm young because that's young in life, but that's old for an NFL running back, especially when the guy's never been good. Like, it wasn't like he was good at 22. How is he going to be good at 28?
Oh, listen. The day either one of us tries that, I promise you, Tom will be the first one to say something to us.
Seriously, hold on. I'm one of the original old A2D cats, homie. I went to school with Tom. Okay, me and Tom went to broadcasting school together. Me and Tom were doing radio shows before A2D was even a thing. Okay. Before A2D even existed, me and Tom were doing shows together, like going back and forth with one another. Like, me and Tom have never been the same person. You give Tom and me a microphone and put us on the same show, and shots get fired in a hurry. Tom has thrown headsets at me. That's how back and forth we go. That's the type of debates and the fire and the passion that we show, bro. No, I'm not a Tom wannabe. I'm my own man. Trust me. That's there's one thing that anybody will ever say about me. You could say a lot of things about me, Steven. You will always back this up. I am a unique, 100% unique individual. I am me at all times, right? Come on. You know me long enough. I ain't nobody but me.
All I gotta say, Fish, is keep throwing them lines out there because your bait's terrible. Terrible.
A Tom wannabe. What?
Terrible bait, brother. You gotta find better material. I mean, come on.
Wow.
Stop it. Anyways, next subject. All right.
Yeah,
the
it's
current time in the Eagles Sports
there you go. Rodney Pete. That's who Jalen Hurts is. Jalen Hurts is Rodney fucking Pete.
What? Why are you hating on Rodney? Rodney Pete was all right, dude.
I was about to say, Rodney Pete's like, hey, that's disrespectful, man. I had a good career. Like, Rodney Pete's like, hey, remember that one Monday night performance I had? Like, come on now. Like, didn't Rodney Pete and Irving Fryer hook up for some type of like all-time Monday night performance one year?
Yeah, we definitely need someone, Eddie. That's what it is.
I think we beat the Raiders and the Lions, to be honest. I think we do. The Raiders are a mess. Before the year, I thought we lost to the Raiders. Now with this Gruden thing, I think we beat the Raiders. They're a mess. And the Lions, the Lions stink. Like, really bad. Like, God, like, they might be the worst team in football. They might not win a game this year.
We don't act weird. We act who we are. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, you say, just say you had people cancel last minute. We didn't have to say that. Like, we could have made it seem like we didn't have any guests.
Here's the thing. I'll address that part of it because I don't ever feel like I have to say anything for any one of my guests. If something happens, something happens. If they want to address it, they'll address it. I just said like, hey, no worries. We'll reschedule another thing. I don't have to sit there and say anything. If someone from the chat says, hey, what happened to Mr. Wilson? Why didn't he hop in? Well, then I'll address it. Other than that, I don't freaking say anything to any of you guys.
I was just trying to be nice and at least give you a reason for why, we don't have to sit here we always plan on having guests every show. It's always great to have extra people you can bounce shit around on. But lucky for everybody in this chat room, me and Steven are good enough. If something like this falls through, we got it, right? We can entertain with the best. And you know what? The fact that you're like, there's no such thing as bad press sort of thing, right, Steven? Like, it doesn't matter how you get the attention or how you get the heat. It's like a heel in professional wrestling, right? It doesn't matter if they're booing the shit out of you. You're doing your job. And, the fact that we're having this argument in the chat room, that's good stuff. 28's not young for what? A running back or for, life? Because, I kind of agree with you with both. I don't feel young anymore, John. I really don't.
Why? How are we falling apart? What do you mean? Like, actually, if you think about it, compared to most Eagle fans, we're probably pretty level-headed with what's going on with this dumpster fire that has been this team over the last 3 seasons, and it started with the Carson Wentz injury.
You know what started all of this? I guess it was the Carson injury, but what started all of it was actually what happened that offseason. When we traded to bring Nick Foles back and started that whole thing in motion. Because ever since then, now what we've had is the backup quarterback being the most popular guy in this city, and it just won't stop. And it was always kind of that way, but now it's gotten to just out of control levels because a backup quarterback won us a Super Bowl, and now we can't get over ourselves. This is kind of why, I don't want to see Gardner Minshew. Because the minute Gardner Minshew plays any type of good football, we're going to have people dressing up in mullets and mustaches and wearing Gardner Minshew T-shirts. Like, it's just, oh, my God. Minshew Mania is going to become the new Fonzie in society.
John chose idiocy today, Eddie. That's it. He chose idiocy. Violence.
Like, I just don't.
For neither one of us. Not me, not Zach, not anyone on ATD. He's just a freaking attention whore in the freaking chat room.
I'm a peace and love and rock and roll type of guy. Peace and love and marijuana.
I don't think listen, I agree. I don't think anyone wants to beat Tom. I don't think anyone wants that stress level of to deal with all of us knuckleheads.
Have you ever met Tom? Anybody that's ever met Tom in person knows Tom is stressed out about shit 24/7. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be him. You kidding me?
All right. Will corrected us. He's 26.
Wait,
So
Jordan
we're
Howard's
off by
only
2 years.
26? You know what? I did not know that. Well, you're right. That's not old. That just means he was never any good. Like, he's just not good. But to my point, if he wasn't good at 22, he's not going to be good at 26, William. Like, it's not like, oh, he's just going into his prime. That's not how running backs work. You don't magically become good at 27. Like, that's not like it was like,
I don't agree with you. Like, listen, we love running the football here in Philadelphia. It's never going to change. As much as we love the big play, we love running the rock. It's always going to be a thing here.
Julio, though, I will say, because I have been the guy that's been consistent about this on this show. I think Steven disagrees to the point where he wants to punch me in the face. But I am on the record, and will stay on the record until proven otherwise, that all these people act like Marshall or Miles Sanders is Marshall Faulk. They act like Miles Sanders is Brian Westbrook. You know, hell, they act like he's Charlie Garner, and he's not even Charlie Garner. There's a reason why Miles Sanders in his entire career so far, whether it's been Doug Peterson, whether it's now been Nick Sirianni, I think there's a reason why he's never become a workhorse. I don't think he's capable of being a workhorse. He doesn't block at the level that you need a workhorse back to, and then he's not like, Adrian Peterson didn't block it, that well, but Adrian Peterson also, was the best running back in football for a stretch of time. So you get away with it, right? Like, he struggled catching the ball out of the backfield ever since, his rookie year. He was good. Since then, he hasn't been. He struggles to block. And then on top of it, it seems like he's always banged up to the point where it's like he's limping around. There's always something going on. And whenever there's 5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter, he's not going to be the guy running the football. That guy's going to be Kenny Gainwell. Like, Miles Sanders for me is a nice player. I think he works best. Like, if I could say trade a first-round pick, Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders to the Raiders for Derek Carr, I think it's a great deal for everybody, because I think Miles Sanders works perfectly with a guy like Josh Jacobs. And now you have two running backs that you can platoon and keep them both fresh, and they both do very, elite, things, at a very high level that they both, can do, they both have skill sets that you have elite things in both skill sets. Great. But I don't know if Miles Sanders works best. Like, I don't know if he'll ever be a guy where he's the main back, the featured back, and he's just the guy. Like, he seems like a guy that he's always going to be a great a great part of a 1-2 punch. And right now we don't have a 2 to that 1, like he's the only guy. You got to, if Kenny Gainwell can grow into that guy, great. And then you look at it and be like, hey, what a 1-2 punch we've got there. Because I think Kenny Gainwell's shown a ton of upside here early on. And you're like, yeah, this guy can play at this level. Sure. We've already seen that, need to find ways to be able to, get him into the game plan where he can do it consistently. But I think we've seen enough from Kenny Gainwell to know he has an NFL skill set. That's not a bad comp. You're right. It's not. I mean, Randall is Randall, right? And there's never going to be another Randall. He was that explosive, that electric, that everything. But yeah, that's not a bad comp. He's a less athletic, less electric Randall Cunningham. But yeah, the similar skill set, sure. Sure, that's not bad.
So as everyone's kind of
no, we can't. No, exactly, Molly Mall. That's the point. That's the point I'm making right there. Molly Mall sums it up. You can't. The reason Miles Sanders doesn't get 20 touches a game is because he's too banged up to get 20 touches a game. If you gave Miles Sanders 20 touches a game, he wouldn't be playing by week 10. He'd be hurt.
I'm with you there too, Rob. We're big fans of Gainwell. I like the way he runs. I like the way he catches the ball out of the backfield.
Steven,
all that stuff.
Was I not beating that drum all offseason when we drafted the kid? I at least want some credit.
You said he was the heir apparent. I'm pretty sure at some time you said he was the heir apparent.
I just want some credit as an early Kenny Gainwell supporter, because I feel like there was a lot of people in this fan base that were like, who the fuck is this kid? somebody that's going to be a really good player.
I think you and Chuck were the first cheerleaders.
Well, Chuck's he's different because Chuck's studies probably more film, like actual film. Like, like me and you will go watch a college football game and just watch it with our eyes, and we don't give a fuck what the film says. But Chuck's actually takes the time out of his day to watch the film.
Chuck's is waiting for the all-22 to get out, so he
you know what I'm saying? Like Chuck's is a lot more analytical with all of the information. He wants to be able to watch it and break it down analytically with his eye and see all of it. Where I'm just like, yeah, I know my eyes tell me this about a player, and then all of that extra stuff that, oh yeah, you're telling me, oh, you know what? That just supports what my eyes already told me. But it all works. It's all Chuck's is over here telling us all this stuff about Kenny Gainwell with his film breakdown. And then lo and behold, wouldn't you know it, Kenny Gainwell actually looks like somebody that passes the eye test on the field. You're like, that's kind of what we were being told by some of these guys that claim to be film junkies. So, hey, Chuck's is one of our guys. I'll give him credit,
Absolutely. Now, obviously,
he was on that bandwagon early.
We didn't get our guest on tonight, obviously, as Mr. John pointed out. But let's move on.
I don't think they'll play dimes, Zach. No.
Let's
Did you hear Jonathan Gannon? What did Jonathan Gannon say when asked why they didn't do something or other? And he said, because we're a something team. They're like, why didn't you play more man-to-man? He goes, because we're a zone team. Wait, what? What kind of thing? Wait, is there some type of rule that says you can only play one and not the other, Steven? I'm sorry. This whole time is my whole life as a football fan. I thought you could play man-to-man and zone. I thought you could do both. I didn't know you only had to pick one. I didn't know that was a requirement.
Now, with the last few minutes here, obviously, we want to quick talk some basketball. Preseason basketball is over. Meaningless basketball is over. We're getting ready to what? I think next weekend we should be 2 or 3 days away from opening tip-off, right?
Next weekend? No, opening tip-off is October 19th. So we'll be 4 days into the NBA season next Saturday.
All right.
This Wednesday. Yeah, that's this Wednesday.
Tuesday starts. Tuesday starts. Hey, thank you.
Tuesday is the 19th, yeah.
So
yeah, tell you what, I'm fired up, Steven. Not necessarily for the Sixers, but just for basketball in general.
Now, what do you think? What is your outlook for the season? For not only for the Sixers, but like what are you feeling?
What's my outlook for all of basketball season?
Do you think the Nets are going to be able to put it together this year and be the super team they were meant to be, regardless of the Kyrie situation, or will the Sixers be the one to overcome their?
The Sixers ain't overcoming nothing. I don't know. My expectations for basketball season. I guess my personal expectations are to make 10 good in basketball season. Betting on whoever the fuck I'm told to bet on, but that's my personal expectations. Bet on teams, make $10,000, buy the wife something pretty.
He said, "I just want to be degenerate and bet on games. That's all I care about."
I've always been a degenerate. Like literally, I've always have been. I just now actually get to bet on it and like legitimately do it. Like I've always had the degenerate mindset. Like I've always had a degenerate personality. Like going back to my days as like a 6-year-old. Rocking out to Shawn Michaels and Triple H.
All right, Zach,
I was one of them degenerates.
Zach, let's correct this. He needs to get a laptop. He is doing this off his phone. That's why
just a laptop in general.
Why? It looks like an old man trying to look at a freaking screen. Like, what's going on over there? Besides my son jumping around on a freaking couch.
I'm about to say, like, what the hell is that? What? That little fucking knucklehead.
Oh man! All right, so here's my outlook so far. Listen, I'm not gonna sit there and put any win total on the season. What I want to see is just get back to the playoffs. Let's see if you get some chemistry, get some things built around the team, and get back to a deep playoff run. Other than that, I guess
wouldn't it be amazing?
What happened,
if after all this, Steven, wouldn't it be amazing if like Ben Simmons had the best year of his career? Like has the best year of his career and we make a deep finals run and go and win a championship, and you're like, after all this bitching and whining and like death threats and like everything that we did to Ben Simmons this offseason. I mean, like, we tried everything. Like, it's like, man. And that's the way Philly sports goes. Watch this kid bounce back and have the best year of his career. And all of us just have to eat a bunch of crow.
He said you can have my old Dell, my brother.
It's probably got a bunch of porn and shit like that on it. I don't want it.
Say, as you get a hater, you always get a lover, brother. I don't give. Listen, we don't pay no mind to any of these dudes. Hugh, none.
Hugh Harper.
Or how about this knucklehead? Zach, we curse too much. Should we put a disclaimer on for you? Are you that sensitive? You need a disclaimer. We cuss too much.
I do cuss too much. What the hell does that have to do with anything?
I'm probably the one that curses more than you. Let's be honest.
I drop it out. I'm like Ozzy Osbourne. I drop an F-bomb every 2 motherfucking words. Like, you ever heard Ozzy Osbourne talk? Ozzy Osbourne says a fucking curse word every motherfucking 2 fucking words.
It's first the fuck then the motherfuck. That's how it's typically.
Right. It's always a fuck followed by a motherfucker. Always with Ozzy. Yes. Absolutely.
Oh, man. All right. Other than that, like who are you looking to step up and surprise you this year? You think you're gonna get any sleeper teams that are gonna sneak up on us?
Watch the Bobcats take a step forward and be a playoff team for the 2nd year in a row.
What about
I guess that's not a sleeper because
in Zion, you think he's gonna, when he gets back in there after his injury, he's gonna get them in the playoffs and get them being a contender or no? You say no.
I mean, they're not good with him. They're just not a good team. Like, that's what you get for naming your franchise the Pelicans. This is what happens when you call your team the Pelicans. You suck forever and ever and ever because the sports gods hate you. Next time, don't call yourself the Pelicans. I don't care if it is the state bird of Louisiana.
Who's going to stop Giannis this year?
Well, nobody can stop Giannis. He's Giannis.
The Hawks will be better this year?
Yeah, I mean, they're not a sleeper team because they were already good, but yeah, that's I mean, you know who might be really good this year? Could be a sleeper team, the Mavs.
And obviously Ben is back. So how do you think now we have to talk about this now because obviously he showed up at the team facility asking for his COVID test, all this other things, we're hearing all more reports and nonsense. Me and you talked privately how we thought we would have dealt with it if we were in the situation. Now, how do you think it's going to be dealt with?
Who's that, Ben?
Yeah, just the whole thing. Yeah.
Well, you don't have any choice. Everybody's going to be a professional about it because that's the way it goes. You're not going to act like children. You're a professional. Guys here to help us win basketball games. Hey, and listen, and if you think people in that locker room don't understand the business side of all of this, like, come on now. You know what I'm saying? They're all grown men in the same profession. They all get it's a big business. They all get there's a lot of hardball that's played both ways. The fact that Ben's camp has to play hardball with the Sixers because of it. They all get that. They're all ready to forgive and forget and move on and let's go win basketball games. And
they started putting that money in escrow. They put that money in escrow. All of a sudden, he needed to show up.
I mean, listen, Luka is. I don't think Luka Doncic is an absolute fucking stud. Is tripping. I mean, they're just out of their mind. That kid is everything. He's the best European player we've seen ever, maybe at this point. I mean, like really, like it could be that good. Like,
yeah. And then we also had the Flyers home opener was last night, and I guess Zach is asking, what are your thoughts of the new team in Seattle, the Kraken?
What's wrong with it? I mean, it's. Did you see the opening? Them and the Knights and that opening they did. That really really cool pregame opening. That was fucking tight.
Hockey's still
They
doing
had
good
they had a
their
virtual
expansion.
Kraken, and then a guy with a sword skating around on the ice, killing the virtual Kraken. It's pretty tight. It's cool.
Yeah, you take your wins where you can get them, right?
I mean, Seattle's going to be a phenomenal hockey market.
Oh, it is.
And then they're going to move. If you read the writing on the wall, Alex Rodriguez is buying his. He's head of an ownership group that's going to buy the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I believe Kevin Garnett's going to be a part of all that. And they're moving that team. That long-term plan would be to move the Timberwolves to Seattle and turn them into a new reincarnation of the Seattle Supersonics, which probably should have happened a long time ago. Steven, let's just be honest. Of all of the NBA franchises, I think the Timberwolves might be the franchise I give the least amount of fucks about. Like, they might be the most irrelevant NBA franchise in the like. It might not even be close, Steven.
Oh man!
Like, you forget that they're a franchise sometimes.
All right, let's address a few more of these comments before we get ready to wrap things up. And go into it.
Yes.
Well, Maxey
becomes a legit superstar this year. Yes. He becomes a legitimate. See, this is where this gets interesting. This is why Ben could have one of his best years ever, because Ben always had to play the one because you had guys like Shake Milton, fucking as your backup point guard, right? All of a sudden, Ben, who can play 4 or 5 different positions, becomes really valuable because Tyrese Maxey can play your 1. You got your 2, right? You're going to have your 3 in Harris and then Embiid as your 5. Ben Simmons almost he's a perfect 4. He really is. He's that perfect point forward type. If you could put him in a Scottie Pippen role, he's never going to be Scottie Pippen, obviously. But if you can have him play that type of role, you're going to see the best Ben Simmons that you've ever seen in your life. He doesn't need to be the point guard. Let him play point forward the way that Scottie Pippen used to do it. You will see a guy that has his best career season. And even if he's gives you 16 and 8 this year, with what Maxey gives you from the point, with Harris and Embiid, and then Simmons giving you 16 and 8 from the 4. I mean, anytime a power forward gives you 16 points and 9 rebounds a game, you're like, that's a pretty damn good year from a power forward. Hey, I like that one. Pretty damn good. That's solid. That'll play. And then on top of that, he's going to play elite defense. So I think if they can find a way to finally get him away from the point guard position and have him play the 4 or something like that more consistently, and I would love to talk about this more with Alan next week, because me and Alan have actually had this conversation for a long time, for 2 or 3 years now. We've always said, if Ben Simmons, if you made him play the 4 instead of playing the 1, you'd be surprised by how much better of a basketball team you become. But he's never, he's always been the point guard, right? He's never been like, hey, you're a power forward now. Well, now you really don't have a choice, because you need both Maxey and him on the floor at the same time. You can't give minutes to Ben Simmons at point guard and take him away from Maxey. You have to find a way for both of them to play together. You could have 4 legitimate players. I mean, Maxey, Harris, Embiid, and Simmons. I mean, that's 4 of my starting 5. Man, that's really good. And Embiid's obviously a complete pimp. He's a stud. He's an elite player of elite players, right? An all-pro type player.
Julio, obviously, I'm not spending any money on that Sixer team right now. Nothing personal about it. It's just, with how they handle anything, you putting any money out for that team, honestly?
If the Sixers come to Orlando, I'll probably go watch them just because.
Now, before we wrap it up, who do you think is gonna pull it off this year? Who's gonna bring home the title? You think the Lakers are gonna fall flat on their face, or who? What happened?
For what? The NBA?
Yeah. Who's your way? Who's Who's your way too early champion?
I'm not picking one. That's a stupid question at this point. Because then Russell Westbrook blows his knee out in November, and we're like, well, that was a stupid conversation a month ago.
I don't think the Lakers are going to do anything.
The Timberwolves are my too early NBA
Stop
champion.
it. The Lakers ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, the Lakers. I'll bet money that the Lakers don't win it.
I don't even see them being a top 3 seed. Sorry.
No, I don't. I'm with you. LeBron is old. Russell Westbrook and LeBron are literally the same player.
He's looked really good for being an old 19
No, I agree,
player.
But LeBron, hold on. Is LeBron anymore? Like, stick with me here. What we're used to LeBron being able to be.
He's a shadow of who he was. The end.
Right. He's more like when Michael came back at 40. You're like, wow, this guy's still really good, but he's just never going to be the Michael that we were used to seeing. That's where LeBron's at. I'll just leave it at this. He's still very good.
Dude, he turns the ball over way too much to be an elite player. That's all I'm going to leave it at.
And he's too ball dominant for a guy that doesn't shoot a high enough percentage from the field. And then for a guy that, when you're that ball dominant and you go to the hole and shoot that many free throws, and you're not a successful free throw shooter.
If he's trying to do that, he's going to be a bench player by the time that happens.
I agree. I think that's absolutely what he's doing here. But that's cool. I mean, listen, that would be special, right? Like that'd be something we've never seen before. That would be cool.
We've seen in the NBA in quite some time.
Here's the biggest problem with the Lakers. LeBron's ball dominant and Russell Westbrook's ball dominant. They're both ball dominant players. Neither one of them plays off the ball, and neither one of them is good at playing off the ball. So you can't force one of them to play off the ball. So how do you have two guys that play on the ball at all times? You don't. Then didn't Carmelo Anthony just sign with that team? And Dwight Howard? I mean, there's not enough basketballs, to go around for you could have you could have a whole bag of basketballs. There's still not enough basketballs to go around for how many ball dominant guys are on that team.
You ain't lying, my friend. All right, I think that'll put a bow on this one, man, and another fun one in the books. We got a jam-packed one lined up for you next one. We got Alan Foy hopping on for Coach's Corner. We got Jermaine Jones hopping on. We're gonna have Shorty Rock Centella hopping on, and I believe we should have one of our fantasy guys hopping on. We're gonna do some fantasy stuff for you guys next week too. So we got a lot of stuff here. Make sure you guys are tuning in again.
It'll be a fun show.
What's that?
We'll try to watch the cursing next week.
I'm not watching none of it. I don't care who Sally was saying you're cursing too much.
First of all, if you're a grown man that thinks people curse too much, grow the fuck up.
Then we had what was this right? We had Fisherman Joe thinking we were trying to act like Thomas. Like, come on, dude, stop! I don't care about these dudes, Joe.
I got called the Tom wannabe. Oh, right. It's wonderful. I got to call Tom now and tell him people are. I wonder how Tom feels if he finds out that people are comparing the two of us.
All right, that was this week's show, guys. We'll be back next week, same time, same channel. I'm Steve Rochelle. He's Zach Burr. This is another episode of the Weekly Roundup. We'll catch you guys